Hello everyone, I'm Meghan Sullivan and welcome to my first impressions video for the PlayStation 5 version of Valkyrie Elysium, developed by Soleil and published by Square Enix. I played the demo and I have thoughts, so let's talk about those thoughts. By the way, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and click that little bell and I'll be sure to keep bringing you all the JRPG and history and games goodness. So, what do I think of Valkyrie Elysium so far? It's fun. It's okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are things I really like about it, but just based on the demo, there are also some issues that I feel like are preventing the game from reaching its full potential. But before I get into the gameplay, let's address the elephant in the room, the graphics. Valkyrie Elysium is an odd mix of lovely and kind of low res, with very intense lighting. You can turn down the game's brightness, by the way. I like the character designs, they're interesting, but the models themselves also look, unfinished, unpolished. They just don't look right at times. And outside of Valhalla, which looks gorgeous, the environments are pretty drab. Now, to be fair, the demo only has 3 environments, so maybe they get better later on. But so far, they're not great. And you can see textures popping up on the PlayStation 5 version. Happily, the music is of much better quality, and I thought the English voice acting was pretty darn good. Never once did I feel the need to switch to Japanese, which is also available. As for the story, I don't know. So far all we do know is that there was a devastating war between the gods of Asgard and the minions of the giant wolf Fenrir that ended in a stalemate, and now the end of the world, aka Ragnarok, is fast approaching. In order to avoid this catastrophe, the king of the Asgardians, the All-Father Odin, sends a battle maiden, or Valkyrie, named Maria to Midgard in order to purify the corrupt souls plaguing the land. Helping Maria on her quest are Einherjar, the souls of fallen heroes. In this regard, Valkyrie Elysium feels like a bit of a spiritual successor to the original Valkyrie profile, and that's not the only nod Elysium gives to its predecessor. There are a couple of features and combat mechanics from games past that are present here as well, with a few tweaks because this game is more action-based. And the good news is the action-based combat is fun. The bad news is that it also feels slightly janky, which can ruin said fun. During the action-oriented combat, your battle maiden can quickly switch between weapons, with each weapon featuring their own combination of attacks tethered to face buttons. She can also evade and guard, pull off effective combos, juggle enemies in the air, and exploit an enemy's weakness to elemental magic like lightning and fire by using divine arts, powerful skills that can take down multiple foes quickly. And if Maria doesn't have the right spell equipped or needs an assist, she can always summon Einherjar to her side, though doing so requires first filling up a soul gauge with souls dropped from enemies. These Einherjar, by the way, can also be summoned to remove environmental obstacles that are blocking your progress. Oh, which reminds me, when trying to remove an obstacle, be sure to use the R3 button to lock onto the object first, then summon your hero. I soft-locked myself out of the tutorial once because I kept messing that up. And yes, when I realized my mistake, I did feel dumb. But the combat and environmental feature I like most is this soul chain ability. Not only does this feature let the Valkyrie grapple to new heights, but it also lets her leap from enemy to enemy in order to quickly dispatch them. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to get the hang of the control scheme. I even fiddled with the control options in the menu to see if that helped. But when it works, Elysium delivers a fun and engaging combat loop. And I appreciate the quality of life features that make things a little easier, including a lock-on system, the ability to choose between easy, normal, and hard difficulty, a yellow location marker that helps you get your bearings, the frequent placement of storage camps where you can upgrade your weapons and learn new skills by using up gems and souls collected in battle, and a tutorial that lets you review attack combos whenever you want. I also like that if you feel like you missed any important objects or scraps of story tucked away in the petals of a flower, yes, that's a thing, you can revisit story missions and side quests. In short, most of the time I enjoyed hacking and slashing and zipping around the map cutting down foes. But did I mention there were some issues? Because there are some issues. First of all, the camera. It's way too tight in spots. I actually couldn't see what was going on because the camera was stuck in a corner or randomly swinging around at times. And because it was so tight, I also couldn't see when an enemy was targeting my Valkyrie, which meant I couldn't dodge incoming missiles. Now you can adjust the camera distance in the options menu, and it definitely helps, but even then, sometimes enemies remain outside the camera's range, which isn't always optimal. Another problem is input. It feels a tiny bit slow or a tiny bit off. Now the good news there is you can use guard to cancel recovery animations for a smoother experience, but I shouldn't have to do that. I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at this game. Or maybe Platinum Games has just spoiled me and I expect every action-based game to have fast, silky smooth combat. Whatever the case, I feel like combat doesn't always flow as well as it should. Also, what's up with the inverted map? That's weird. And finally, there are times when the game feels repetitive. Again, we're only in the first 2 hours of the story, so it's not like Maria has a ton of skills, locales, enemies, and options available to her here, but if the demo is designed to whet my appetite for what's coming, well, it didn't really do that. I think this game has the potential to be fun, but between its unpolished graphics, slightly bumpy controls, and drab and repetitive enemies and environments, I don't feel the need to run out and buy it day one. Especially when there are over 30 major RPG titles coming our way in the next year, many of which, by the way, are published by Square Enix. Still, this demo is pretty short and it's free, so I guess I can go ahead and recommend trying it out for yourself, and maybe you already have. So let me ask you this, what did you think of the demo? Did it convince you to get the game? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you later.